What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have our first episode of the Chelsea career mode for you. So on this channel, FBallFC, we're going to have three different types of content for you to get started. We have the ultimate career mode, we have weekend league rewards every Thursday, and we're going to have the Chelsea career mode, the manager career mode, all going simultaneously. And today is our first episode. I'm going to show you how I do manager career modes. Obviously, manager career mode is something that we're going to eventually get to in the ultimate career mode, but I want to have a manager career mode going simultaneously because we're going to be a player for FBall in the ultimate career mode for a while. So I figured we get started with the manager career mode. My favorite club is Chelsea Football Club. That's a club I support. I figured what better club to start at than Chelsea, especially after the season they had last season. They finished 10th in the Premier League, something unheard of the season after winning the title, which was absolutely insane. So I figured for my first manager career mode, I'm going to take over as Chelsea manager and try and turn the club back around, just like Antonio Conte has done in real life. So we're going to see if I can do as good of a job as Conte has done, because Chelsea are currently top of the table going into the Christmas period. So he's done a great job, but let's see if I can do better. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, I like to go really in depth for my career modes, and I like to be as realistic as possible. So before we even get started, I just want to show you something really quick about career mode that you're going to get with basically every club in the game, but especially at a club like Chelsea. So any Chelsea fans out there and any football fans know how incredible of a season Tammy Abraham has had on loan at Bristol City. But take a look at this man. In career mode, he's a Bristol City player. He's not even a Chelsea player. He belongs to Bristol City. He's not on loan from Chelsea at Bristol City. He is just a Bristol City player. And if I was to start a Chelsea career mode, I would literally have to buy Tammy Abraham from Bristol City just to get him in my squad, which just isn't fair. So what we're actually going to do is edit the rosters going into our career mode so that we can have the players that we should have that EA doesn't give us. Alright, so we're here on the main menu. We're going to head over to Customize, and we're going to get to Edit Teams. First thing we're going to do is download the latest updates for our rosters and get all that situated. And then we're going to head over to Club Transfers. Chelsea's what comes up, but what we're actually going to do is find the team of the first player you want to transfer over. So obviously, since Tammy Abraham is on the mind, we're going to go to Bristol City, and there he is. And we are just going to take Abraham and just move him right to Chelsea in the Premier League. And this is literally just a straight, not even a swap. We just put Abraham on Chelsea, and now he's on Chelsea. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for a few more players. So I've added a few players, and I've actually reached the limit because Chelsea have 12 players out on loan. And as you can see up there, we have 40 out of 52 players in this team. So that means I have to get rid of some in order to fit. I have 2 more players on my list. So here's Mason Mount. He's someone that we're not going to use at all, and we're actually going to trade him for Alex Kawamia. He plays for Crew Alexandra on loan right now in League 2. It's very possible that we're not going to use Kawamia at all, but I want to have Kawamia in my team more than I do Mount, and since we don't have any more spots, I'm going to switch Mount over. So that's something I regularly do when I am updating these squads. So before we jump into the career mode, I just want to show you guys what I did. So we've added Alex Kawamia to Chelsea. We've also added Isaiah Brown. These are all Chelsea Academy products who are on loan in real life and the game doesn't give to us when we start a career mode. Casey Palmer from Huddersfield Town. Matt Miazga, he's on loan in Germany. Or no, he's on loan at Vitesse. Chelsea's one of their feeder clubs in real life. And Jeremy Boga, who is on loan in Spain at the moment. We also grabbed Nathan Ake from Bournemouth, Tammy Abraham from Bristol City, Patrick Bamford from Burnley, Nathan from Vitesse, and I believe, yeah, that is about it. So those are the players that we added, and we only got rid of 2 academy players who are going to be basically irrelevant for this career mode. So those are the updates that I made to the squad ahead of going into this career mode, but now let's actually get this thing started. Alright, so we're going to head over to New Career. We are going to be a manager for this one. I'm absolutely going to accept this into my transfer budget. Chelsea basically have unlimited funds in real life, or that's what they tell us at least. So we're definitely going to take this. I'm not saying that I'm going to spend it. I like to keep things realistic. And of course I'm going to take that extra scout. Why not? That's what I get for the EA level that I am on my account. So of course I'm going to take it. Here's our club. So this is what we're looking at. Just a quick little bio, but we'll get into all this stuff when we actually open everything up, take a look at everything into more finer detail. This is the manager details that we're going to be running with. Obviously, it's very realistic and unrealistic in real life that Chelsea would be hiring an unexperienced young American to manage their club, but this is FIFA and we do whatever we want, so we're going to go ahead with that anyway. And you already know I'm rocking the suit because we're just keeping it classy out here. Alright, so like I mentioned in my earlier videos, for manager career mode, I like to play on world class, and we're going to go with 6 minutes as well. For currency, we're going to keep it at sterling because we're in the UK, we're managing Chelsea, we're dealing with European players, and that's just how it is. Now for squads used, because of the differences we made, we're going to go with current customized. And we're also going to be disabling the first summer transfer window. Like I said, I like to keep things realistic. We'll get cracking at stuff in the January window, but for the beginning of the season, for the first half of the season, we're literally going to be focusing on what Chelsea has already and using what they have, and we'll see what happens once we get to January. Now, as for European competition, we all know Chelsea's not involved in the Champions League. I'm going to do the draw. I'm going to make it more realistic. Now, if Chelsea were in the Champions League, I would actually make all the groups what they are in real life, or at least as close to accurate as the game lets me based on what teams are available. But since Chelsea aren't involved in the Champions League in this first season, or even the Europa League, I'm literally going to just draw the seeded teams so that it's realistic and literally just leave it how it is. That's fine with me, but it has to be going on because my opponents are going to be playing in it, and I want that to be a factor. But so we'll just leave it as that. The first summer transfer window is disabled. Squads are current customized, sterling, 6 minutes, world class, and let's get it started. Alright, so of course the first thing that pops up is a preseason tournament invite, which we are absolutely going to be participating in because we want that extra prize money and we want our players to get warmed up before the season starts. We're actually going to go to the United States for this one, which is what Chelsea did in real life this season, and that's what I like to see as the game grows and, big clubs travel over to America so that their American fans like myself can go out and see them play. So we're going to be picking this one. It also has the best prize money, so it's kind of a no-brainer here, but it's just nice to send the club to America in the American Challenge Cup, I believe it's called, for the preseason tournament, so we're definitely going to be accepting that. So the first thing we're going to do is open up our emails and check everything out. So the board is telling us that they're excited that we're entering the American Challenge Cup. We're going to have Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, and DC United in our group. So that's pretty interesting. That'll be pretty difficult. So it looks like we have merchandising is a huge issue for the club. Their goal is to earn £170 million in sales from player shirts. So that's going to be an interesting one to keep in mind with buying players and whatnot. So that is our financial objective. Our vision and expectation. So this is just a standard email that you always get when you join a club. First scout report has arrived. That's irrelevant to me. An email from the scout. Willian, his broken tibia. Okay, so Willian has an injury going into the season. Okay, so pretty solid. Pretty kind of predictable with the emails that we get there. So let's go ahead and check out. Let's check out the board expectations. So it wants us to win the Champions League within 2 seasons of reaching it. So we're not in it right now. All it wants us to do is qualify for the Champions League in our first season, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, okay, no. Okay, yeah. So all right, we'll start with youth development. So that's low. So it wants us to grow one youth academy player by at least 5 overall points. Wow. Play them in 5 matches, either as part of the starting 11 or coming in as a sub. So that's going to be something that we look to do, and I'll get to that actually right after this. So brand exposure, as far as the shirt sales go, the summer transfer window is disabled, so it's kind of hard for us to complete this objective because we can't go out and buy a big name player. But hopefully if our big name players like Hazard, Costa, etc. perform well, the shirt sales will go up, but I'm not too sure about that. And £323 million from media earnings, competition prize money within 3 seasons. I think that's totally attainable, the long-term goal. Not so sure about the short-term goal, but if we hit our other objectives, this short-term goal, sorry, I can't speak, will not matter to us, even though it is critical. As for financial, Chelsea Football Club, there's nothing of the sort, no worries at all, which is solid for us. It's a good first career mode. Domestic success. It wants us to win the Premier League title and the FA Cup this season. And as we noticed there, the EFL Cup is completely irrelevant, so I'll be taking that into account. I kind of already expected that, but there we have it. And then qualify for the Champions League this season. I mean, that's a no-brainer. We're going to be shooting for the league title, just like Chelsea are shooting for it in real life. And within 2 seasons of the Champions League, win it. That's going to be extremely difficult, but we'll see how that goes. So that's what our objectives are looking like. Now, before we literally do anything else, this is something that I do for every career mode that I'm running. Well, mainly when I'm at a big club. When I'm at a smaller club, it's completely different. But what you need right from the get-go is a youth scout. So we're going to head over to Hire Scout. And oh, wow, we got extremely lucky with this one. We got Jay Robinson, the English scout, perfect rating. That just saved me a lot of time. What I usually do is I head into Hire Scout and I wait until I find a scout who is the same nationality as my club and has 5-star for both categories, just like Jay Robinson is here. But if Jay Robinson wasn't here, I would keep backing out and going into my career mode, and every 7th day the options in this menu change up. That this goes for the Global Transfer Network as well. So this might be a little trick. I'm not sure if you guys might know about it. It might help you. But I do it. I don't consider it cheating. I feel like, you know, the game, the way it does it is pretty annoying. You shouldn't have to wait every 7 days for new options, and then when you get to those new options, you're not even sure if you're gonna get the scout that you want, the best scout possible, and then you'll have to settle, you know, for something like this. Something like this which just isn't fair, honestly. So what I do is I literally, if Jay Robinson didn't come up here, I'd sim 6 more days, I'd save my career mode, and I'd keep backing in and out, simming to that 7th day, and when the new options come, I would not rest until I got what I wanted. But thank goodness for this career mode, we don't even have to waste our time. There's Jay Robinson. He's going to cost us £3.4 million, which is absolutely nothing for this club, and that's perfect because literally from day one, which is what you want to do, from day one, you want to have that scout in there, and he's available, and we're not even gonna be hiring any other scouts. This is what I do. I get my scout, and because this is the way this game works, and this is the way the youth academy works, we're gonna send this English scout with 5-star experience, 5-star judgment to England for 9 months, looking for absolutely anything, and this is where we're gonna get our youth academy from in the best possible way. This is how we're gonna hit that youth objective that our board set for us. This is how we're going to get players into our academy. And, you know, because it's something I value very highly in my career modes, because where would Chelsea be without players like John Terry? You need players like this in your team, and that's one of the most exciting things about career modes, is getting into the deep future and actually seeing, you know, those players from the academy end up being your starters on your first team. It makes the career mode, you know, more personalized, because the academy players that I have in my academy that end up going on to be first team legends, like, for example, a John Terry, they're going to be unique to me that no one else can have. Anyone can start a career mode and buy, you know, someone like Mbolo from Schalke and put him on their team, and he can end up being, you know, one of their best strikers ever. But no one can replicate what you do with your youth academy. So that is absolutely something I'm going to be doing, and Jay Robinson is going to be our guy throughout this entire career mode. This is the squad list going into our first season as Chelsea manager. So these are all the players that the game does give us on loan. Piazon has a short loan, and we filled up the club with a total of 52 players. There were a bunch of spots actually, so I only had to get rid of 2 players when I was editing the squads before we started here. But so we have all these players in our club. We're not going to be using a lot of them, and it's not until January that we can send some of them off to loan. So a lot of them are going to be just hanging out in our club, but these guys are on loan developing, so we'll see how they come back at the end of their spells. But this is just a quick look at how it's looking, you know, at the start of the career mode. Finally, let's take a look at the squad. So here's what we got. This is the default formation that FIFA gives us. They've updated everything. They've even given Alonso and Moses their wingback positions. So this is going to be our starting formation. This is what Antonio Conte and Chelsea use in real life. This is what I intend on using. So I'm just going to show you guys the instructions that I'm going to go with for these guys. So we're going to keep all these options how they are. I'm fine with these. Now, as for instructions, Hazard, you're not going to come back on defense. You're going to stay forward. Diego Costa, he's going to act as a target man, and he's going to be pressing the back line. And then as for Pedro, he's also going to be staying forward. Matic are more defensive. They're both very defensive, but are more defensive of the two midfielders. I want him to stay back while attacking. Players don't really listen to these instructions. Anyone who knows Ultimate Team plays that, or anyone who plays Ultimate Team knows that. But we're going to give that to him. And as for Conte, we're going to just let him be balanced attack. And for Alonso and Moses, we want them to always overlap, because in real life, they're always trying to get forward and help out, and they have to come back on defense. There's 3 guys sitting here, covering them, so their job is to go up and come back. And that's just how it's working for Chelsea in real life as well. I'm not going to touch the tactics. And so now for our substitutes and our reserves. So here's how I like to organize everything. So we have a striker to bring on, we have a winger to bring on, we have a center mid, and we have a center defensive mid to bring on in case we need. We have a fullback. We basically have 2 center backs who are both capable of playing, one of the fullbacks if needed. And then we have our backup goalkeeper. These 2 players are kind of like fringe players that would get into the subs, but currently aren't. Who knows what's going to happen with Oscar in real life at this very moment? Everyone's linking him to China in a mega move. We'll update that in January of our career mode if that's the case, what happens in real life. But as of right now, he's still a Chelsea player, and we would be starting with him anyway in the career mode, so there he is. Now for the rest of the reserves, it kind of sucks because all these guys should be out on loan getting experience, but they're stuck with us. But I'd rather have them in the club than just not have them at all. So here we have our strikers and our wingers, and I just like to list everyone in order of what position they are in their overall from worst to best. So there we have it. Everything's all down there, and this is our starting team. So that's the squad we're going to be running with. Let's have a look at the contract situation at the club right now. So I'm not going to look at wages. I'm not going to look at anything right now. I'm just going to focus on players in the last year of their contract. Because when the January transfer window comes around, I refuse to let my players get taken from me for free by leaving with less than 6 months on their contract. So I like to make sure that every single player is signed to a deal so that that doesn't happen to me. I'd rather sell them. If I want to sell them, I'd rather sell them off and make the money off them. So right now I'm going to go to every player that has a year left on their contract and just sign a deal with them so that they do not leave us. So I just put a contract offer out there for everyone. I basically just got extorted by each of these players because they all want a raise to their contract. And as someone who's done career modes with all sorts of teams, it's kind of just eye-watering the money that some of them want. Like Alex Colomia, I just offered him 15K a week, I believe, which is just ridiculous. He's a 61 overall on 15K a week. I mean, that is just incredible. And I think that just speaks about football. Like, yes, he's 20. I guess he has potential. In FIFA, he's only a 61. But if you're down in League 2, rocking like Portsmouth or something, you are not affording a 61 overall for 15K a week. I'll tell you that. Maybe 5 or something like that. But, I mean, that's just crazy. But anyway, that's just, irrelevant at this point. For Chelsea, we're going to just get them signed. We don't have to worry about money. That's one of the luxuries that we do have. So we'll see who accepts, and whoever doesn't accept will modify that deal. But I just gave them what they wanted in the hopes that they would just sign, because at the end of the day, most of these guys are going to end up getting sold. And, when they get sold, we'll make that money back anyway. So I'm not bothered about it at all. This is the training I'm going to be running with to start this career mode out. These 2 guys, I really care about their development. They're both going to be on chance creation. Isaiah Brown, he's going to be on Beat Your Man. Palmer's going to be getting his short passing up. And we are also going to have Kurt Zuma in here for now, because he's not a starter in the team at the moment. So I want him to, increase his overall, because he's not going to get a lot of playing time. So we're going to just have him on El Rondo this whole time. And we're always going to be simulating our training drills. We don't have time to play them. Whatever the computer gives me is fine. I'm totally okay with that. Now we're going to head on to what everyone loves in career mode, transfer. So we'll go over to the Global Transfer Network. This is what I prefer to use. I'm not someone that likes to go online and type in FIFA 17 career mode Wonder Kids. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I like to keep it as authentic as the game lets me. So in the Global Transfer Network, we're blessed at Chelsea Football Club to have a bunch of good scouts, as well as we added a few more with that little power-up at the beginning of the game. I guess if you could call it a power-up. So we have a scout in the Big 5 leagues, so England, France, Italy. He's on his way to Germany. He's on his way to Spain. This guy is kind of going to be like my swing scout. Kind of going to send him to, different leagues. Maybe I can pick up a gem there, see what we got. He's going to Portugal to start this off, but I'll probably be moving him to Netherlands and Belgium as well to check out everything that he has. Now on to instructions. So I have plenty of plans so far as to what I'm going to do with transfers, which I'm not going to show you right now. We'll get to that in January. I have some stuff on my short list, but we're not going to deal with transfers now because that's not what is important. But I just want to show you guys what I'm going to be scouting as we go throughout this career mode before we get to January. So all I'm looking for, not necessarily in January, but for the summer, and we're literally gonna get started on day one. This is what you have to do if you want to find the best possible players. We're gonna be looking for our right wing back. Now you can't search for specifically a wing back in this, which is kind of weird. So we're gonna be looking for a right back and right midfielder. So we're gonna look for right backs who are attack minded. So there's going to be some things in common here. Box-to-box, pacey, and first-team quality. Because they're going to be wing-backs, they're going to be going box-to-box, up and down. They need to have pace, and they need to be first-team quality. I'm not saying they need to be world-class, because we want anything, all the good stuff to come up. So for right-backs, they're going to be attack-minded, because they need to get up more than a defensive traditional right-back would. And for right midfielders, they're going to be defensive-minded, because there might be some right midfielders in the game that might be, they might be defensive minded and they might work well as a wing back. Then down here we have the same exact settings, but we have promising instead of first team quality. So these two are going to look for players who fit the requirements, but they're not first team quality yet, they're promising players. And getting all these options into my database will be great because I can really take a look at everything and see what the best fit is, and I can get all possible options that I can. And then up here, this is something I always have active. These two I always have active during my career mode. We're looking for any position, promising and first team quality players. This is how you unearth the gems in career mode, the players that are already good enough for the first team, which at Chelsea have to be pretty damn good, and promising. They're young and they're promising, yet they're already at that level. We're not going to find a whole lot, but we're going to keep scouting for it because you just never know when they're going to pop up. That's something that's very helpful for the deep future as well once you get there. And down here, we always have this up as well. We're looking for any position, players that are world-class. This is how we see who we're going to sign in January for free, which is something I love to do during career modes. I feel like it doesn't happen enough in real life. I feel like the most prominent one of those in recent times was Lewandowski signing for Bayern on a free in January a couple years ago. From Borussia Dortmund, but in this, so we have it set to world-class players, any position, age range. We're gonna go from 23 to 35 because they have to be over 23 years old or 23 or older, and contract remaining less than a year. So that's how we're gonna find those players. So that's what we're looking at in our global transfer network. I'm not going to speak about it again for a while. This is what we're going to be scouting as we go throughout our career mode, and these are our scouts. This is where they're going to be. So this is what we're looking at in terms of this, but we'll deal with transfer stuff when we get there. Now it's time to really get onto the important stuff. And we've done all this pre-production, all this stuff. We have not even simmed a day yet. So let's literally get right into this and start simming. Let's see what we have here. This guy wants me to play him in the game. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. We got to get the first team going. Now, on to preseason. Let me give you guys my policy on preseason. So, normally I play preseason games, but for the first episode of this career mode, right at the start, the summer transfer window isn't open. We just got started here. We're not going to be playing these games. We're going to be simming them because honestly, the only purpose they serve is we don't really need the money at the end of the tournament. As Chelsea manager, we don't really need the money that the tournament's going to give us. Honestly, this tournament is just so that our starting 11 can warm up before the season starts. And I will play the preseason games at the beginning of next season when I'm trying new stuff out with the team, when I want to see how certain players are going to work and give different people time. But for this, we're going to be simming them. We're going to be using the same starting 11 to get the guys ready for the season. And if there are any injuries during this preseason, we are going to back out and come back in because that's not going to fly with this. We're not having any injuries in this preseason. We're simming it, and it's just gonna be something that we just push through because we're gonna still have the preseason. I still want my players to get warmed up. I still want that prize money if we can get it, but I'm definitely not gonna be making it a big deal and not playing it, for this portion of our career mode. But in the future, it is something that's important to me. But just in this special case, with the situation we're in, it's not going to be something that we do at all. So So it looks like we have a problem with, I think it's Willian. He's still injured, so we gotta get him out of here. That's fine. We'll throw Oscar in there. So Willian's not really ready for the season yet. That's fine. So this is the starting 11 and the bench that we're going to be running with. And before we do anything, let's just save really quick so that we can be all updated and ready. Yes, it is 4 o'clock in the morning right now. Please do not judge me. Alright, so we're going to be simming our first match against Paris Saint-Germain. Let's see how we do. Okay, we absolutely destroyed them. 4-0, man. That's crazy. Batshuayi scored 2 goals. He's going to be my sub this season. Obviously, Costa's our starter, but that's cool that he scored a couple of goals. 4-0 against Paris Saint-Germain, man. There we go. No problems with that. Let's take a look at our emails. We're getting some contracts accepted. Nothing really too important here. Alright guys, so for time's sake, I decided to just sim through everything real quick. So with PSG, we saw we beat them 4-0. We actually drew 2-2 against DC United. We thrashed Real Madrid 5-0. We ended up making it to the semifinal where we beat Roma 2-0. Got to the final versus Juventus. It was a tight 2-2 game, but we beat them 5-4 on penalties. So we won the American Challenge Cup. We got all £10.6 million, I think the prize money was. We received all of it. We won. The team played well, beat some good teams. So that's really encouraging. That's what you want to see. It would definitely make me a little bit worried if the team didn't get any wins at all, maybe lost their games. That would worry me, but I was kind of expecting to at least make it to the semifinal while simming it. So we won all the way to the end. We won the final. So I'm happy with that. Now let's get ourselves over to the first game of the season. Just got an email in the inbox, a message from John Terry. Boss, this might be my last season of playing football. I'm considering hanging my boots up at the end of this season. I'm not sure I can continue to perform at a level that does justice, so I'll be thinking long and hard about my career this season. Honestly, with John Terry this season, guys, he's not going to really be in my plans, kind of like how it is in real life right now. Terry, he is struggling through some injury in real life, but he can't really get into the first team, and that's going to be the same with my career mode. He's not really going to be getting into the first team, I won't be surprised if he retires at the end of the season, but this is FIFA 17. It's kind of late for John Terry. He's not really going to have a huge impact, on Chelsea in this career mode, unfortunately. But if he retires at the end of the season, hopefully we can send off our club captain and legend with a few trophies. So we've simmed our way up through the end of July and the month of August, and here we are, August 15th, our first match of the Premier League season at home to West Ham United. This is how we will get started at the beginning of our next episode. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the first episode of our Chelsea career mode here on my new channel, Evball FC. No gameplay in the first episode because I wanted to show you guys how I get set up with everything, how I like to set my career modes up before we even sim a day. That's how I like to do things, man. I like to get everything sorted out so once the season starts, we can just worry about the games we're playing, our squad, and how everything's going. Preseason, we won the final, we got all of our prize money, and we are literally set at the beginning of episode 2. We're going to jump right into that first game versus West Ham United at Stamford Bridge. So that'll conclude the first episode here. If you enjoyed what you're watching, leave a like, maybe consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it greatly. I'm trying to build my empire here at Evball FC, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.